Okay. Good morning and welcome to this morning's service. It's a nice hot day right now, so drink lots of water today. Today is our last Dharma School service, Dharma School family service for this 2025 and 26 uh, year. This morning service will be conducted by the 6th through 8th grade class, and our head minister, Reverend Sterling Davenport, will be officiating today's service. Today we will be also observing our June Shotsuki Hoyo. At this time, we will have the fruit and floral presentation by the 6th through 8th grade class. Sorry.
Reverend Sterling will now lead us in silent meditation. Please put your hands together in Gasha.
How rare and wondrous it is to have been born into human life, and now I live it. How rare and wondrous it is to be able to listen to the Buddha Dharma, and now I am able to hear it. If I do not transcend the world of delusion in this life, when will I ever attain spiritual liberation? May I, along with the entire Sangha, with sincere heart and mind, rely on that which can truly be relied on in this life, the three treasures. Please join me in Gasho, where as we recite the Nembutsu with palms together. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda Butsu.
Reverend Sterling will now read the names for the June Shotsuki Hoyo, honoring those who have previously passed away this month. If you have a family member or friend who has passed away this month, you are welcome to offer incense. Also, for those wanting to add a family member or friend this month, Shotsuki Hoyo list, please contact the temple office after the service.
As mentioned, when I read the names, if I read the name of a loved one or a friend, please feel free to offer a shoko. Toshiko Ogata, James Kita, Armando Leal Rodriguez, William Kenji Terusake, Bob Noburo Ito, George Hiroshi Matsumoto, Tomio Nakano, Haru Gerard, George Shuichi Subakihara, Ronald Iguchi. Shigeharu Nakamura. Tokyo Hayashi. Masako Lawrence. Minoru Nakamura. Miyoshi Tanaka. Mizue Koppel. Sadae Kohara. Makiko Ishizue. Toshiko Mori. Tom Masakatsu Yonekura. Ronnie Ishisaki. Chieko Kira. J. Richard Teague. Eijiro Yamashita. George Yano. Naoe Yagura. Sandra Sachiko Takashima. Fumiko Shironaka. Kiyoshi Shinsato. Emi Fujimoto. Richard Shizuo Watanabe. Frank Yamada. Seiichi Shimuzu. Tamotsu Matsumoto. Ichiji Auchi. Kuni Shimada. Kyoji Otomo. Yuru Shiraishi. Tamotsu Ojiri. Yuka Yamanokuchi. Midori Morimoto. Kitaro Hataue. Toichi Okamura. Kikuyo Kawasaki. Sune Subota. Shigeo Fujimoto. Toshiko Yamada. Yozo Kawato. Rokoichi Hanao. Jukichi Yamanishi. Shojiro Samashima. Yukino Samashima. Shizue Moriyama. Shigeyuki Furuya. Masue Morita. Hideo Iwata. Goichiro Hasayama. Isano Sugiyaka. Toichi Kodama. Hajime Yonekura. Minitaro Hosaka. Akito Matsui. Nobuko Ito. Masami Ito. Micah Sato. At this time, if you had a loved one that passed or a friend and family member that wasn't on this list, I offer you the opportunity to offer incense in remembrance.
We will now chant the Juseke on page 35 of the service book. At this time, Mrs. Nancy Martinez will give us our Dharma message.
Good morning, if you give me a second. Is it working? I try again? Should I plug this in again? So thanks. That's one of, I guess, the 6 paramitas we're supposed to be observant of patience. And thank you. Thank you. So this is one of those things where Sensei had asked me like 6 weeks ago to have a Dharma talk for today. And of course, I was up last night at 10:30 trying to work on it. Thank you. So would you please join me in Gassho? If one walks looking far ahead and pays no attention to the ground beneath their eyes, they will stumble. If one gazes critically upon others and forgets to look into oneself, they will bring difficulties upon themselves. Renyo Shonin. Thank you. So again, appreciate your patience and being with me, and so I'll kind of try to get through this. So when I was asked to do this talk, I couldn't think of if I should call it walking with purpose, walking on purpose, just walking maybe. But here we are. So this is a quote that we often recite during the service, and just a reminder about thinking about more than just what you're doing, but you have to walk with intention. So that was one thing that I recall from Reverend Noriko saying one time when she was officiating a service, that there are many steps in what you do, and you have to often do it with deliberation and intention, but you're also thinking about everything else, what's around you. So when we do things with intention, Dharma School, I know the pre-K through second grade class, they talked about this before. So what is this? This is the big B. So this is bow, then incense, bow, then incense, gassho, bow, gassho, bow. So that's doing something with intention. So when we come to service and we walk up to do oshoko, we're doing something with intention. And that's one of the reasons why we walk. Besides, we're always told by our Dharma school teachers, please walk to class, don't run. We also walk for enjoyment. So it might be walking with your friends, walking with a dog, or maybe 2 dogs, or sometimes 3 dogs. But we also walk that way, whether it be for exercise, to talk with a friend, to allow our dogs to get a good exercise, just for our own health reasons. So how many try to get in all your steps, your 10,000 steps every day? Is there anybody out there? Oh, there's a few people out there that try to get in their steps. So this is one way that I can accomplish health, trying to meet my health goal, but is also by doing it with some others. And my dog, Suki, who's in the lower left corner, she loves to run at Fiesta Island. And she helps me get my steps in, but it's just also a way for her to enjoy herself and for me to enjoy myself. So, and usually she's running. Sometimes she runs so fast, I kind of get prideful because people go, did you see how fast that dog is? Because she can just chase the waves and look for balls and things. And I'm just, I do get a little bit happy when I see her so happy herself. And walking can also allow you some time to focus. Maybe I should have been focusing more in preparing for this talk today. It also allows you to have some reflection and think about things you appreciate, and that's true gratitude. And that's why I'm happy to be able to give a Dharma talk at Shotsuki Hoyo, because it's in memory of people that have enriched our lives, made it special. Walking allows you to do that too. So for me, walking, I think about my mom and my father every day, and my sister who I lost. Walking allows you to see some beautiful sunrises and sunsets, and to learn to appreciate life. So looking through photos on my computer, I just found so many that I take just of a scene that I think is pretty incredible. But they're incredible ones every day if you take the time to look. And on terms of reflection, we are thankful and grateful for all those who have allowed us to be here at our 100th anniversary celebration year. So that's another thing to think about when you walk, is how the legacy of this temple, how it has enriched your life. So last week we helped out at the cultural bazaar. How many people were here at the bazaar last week? Yeah, thank you for your hard work. And Roger, did you get your strawberry mochi? Yes. All right. So we made one person very happy, and I know that the Sangha teams work and the Dharma School work very hard in the snack booth, so thank you very much for your hard work. So because everybody works so hard, I thought it would just be good to have a kind of a fun talk about walking. So I'm going to ask, and I haven't told them before, I'm going to ask for, I thought I saw Margot Spears and Shirley to come help me out with this part of the talk. Come on, Margot. Come on, brittle lady. I didn't tell them about this. This is a surprise, right? Okay. Very much so. Okay. So we're going to have Shirley and Margot. Shirley, you can take this side of the pews. And Margot's going to take this side of the pews of our Sangha today. And what it's going to be is we're going to read a silly story. And this is partly because I'm a new grandma. I get to read lots of silly books. So how many have seen this or heard this book, The Wonky Donkey? Okay. I guess there's supposed to be a song to it, but I don't know what the song is. But we're going to read it together. So this book is by Craig Smith, and the illustrations are by Katz Cowley. Okay? And so what's going to happen is that we're going to have the Sangha participate in this exercise today, because we're just having fun today. So every time I'm going to say, I was walking down the road and I saw, both Margot and Shirley are going to show their signs, and you need to participate by saying, go ahead and say it, show your sign. Hee-haw. Okay, now is everyone, can you do that? And I'm not saying it's a competition here or anything, but let's all hear your voices and help our two volunteers, reluctant volunteers, help out. Okay, here we go. I was walking down the road and I saw a donkey. He was a wonky donkey. He only had 3 legs. I was walking down the road and I saw a donkey. He only had 3 legs and 1 eye. He was a winky wonky donkey. I was walking down the road and I saw a donkey. He only had 3 legs, 1 eye, and he liked to listen to country music. Yee-haw! He was a honky-tonky, winky-wonky donkey. I was walking down the road and I saw a donkey. He only had 3 legs, 1 eye. He liked to listen to country music, and he was quite tall and slim. He was a lanky, honky-tonky, winky-wonky donkey. I was walking down the road and I saw a donkey. He only had 3 legs, 1 eye. He liked to listen to country music. He was quite tall and slim. Oops, I got him out of order. Sorry. And he smelled really, really bad. He was a stinky, dinky, lanky, honky, tonky, winky, wonky donkey. I was walking down the road and I saw a donkey. He only had 3 legs, 1 eye. He liked to listen to country music. He was quite tall and slim. He smelled really, really bad. And that morning, he had gotten up early and hadn't had any coffee. He was a cranky, stinky, dinky, lanky, honky, tonky, winky, wonky donkey. I was walking down the road and I saw a donkey. He only had 3 legs, 1 eye. He liked to listen to country music. He was quite tall and slim. He smelled really, really bad. That morning he'd gotten up early and hadn't had his coffee, and he was always getting up into mischief. He was a hanky-panky, cranky, tink, stinky, dinky, lanky, honky, tonky, winky, wonky, donkey. I was walking down the road and I saw a donkey. He only had 3 legs, 1 eye. He liked to listen to country music. He was quite tall and slim. He smelt really, really bad. That morning he'd gotten up early and hadn't had any coffee. He was always getting up to mischief, but he was quite good looking. He was a spunky, hanky-panky, cranky, stinky, dinky, lanky, honky, tonky, winky, wonky, donkey. I was walking down the road and I saw a donkey. And that's the end of that story. Thank you. So walking on or with purpose, we can also have fun. When you need to, you walk with intention and deliberation, but be mindful of your purpose and allow yourself to be open to whatever you might encounter, whether it's a winky wonky donkey or maybe like this. This was something Suki and I discovered on Thanksgiving. So first she looks, and she looks closer, and what it is, it's somebody's deep fried turkey that they overcooked. And it was just for me, it was a funny encounter because where we walk, there's all sorts of wild critters. There's coyotes, and there's possums, the raccoons, and cats, and feral dogs. But even those guys did not touch this overcooked turkey. So that was my laugh for the day. I told this to Ken Murok, and he said, well, even wild critters have their standards. So, but you can also know that when you walk, you might encounter something truly wonderful. So I hope you enjoy walking wherever you or whenever you do, and wherever you're going for whatever purpose. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Nancy, for your Dharma talk about walking with a purpose. Please stand to sing Nam Amida Butsu on page 122 of our service book. Mrs. Davenport will lead us.
When life is fair and sunlight gilds the day, when fortune smiles and flowers adorn our way, oft let us pause with grateful hearts to say, Namo Amida Butsu. Eve, though our way leads neath a darkened sky, and to our loved ones one's pain and death draw nigh. Our tears may flow, yet trustingly we cry, Namo Amida Butsu. When our life leads us to the other shore, and Buddha's light will see evermore. In Nembutsu, our grateful heart shall soar. Namo Amida Butsu.
Thank you, Mrs. Davenport. Please remain standing for the recitation of our pledge on a sheet of paper in the back of the service book. Breaking out of my shell, I will share a warm smile and speak gentle words, just like the kind Buddha. Not becoming lost in my greed, anger, and ignorance, I shall think and act with an open mind, just like the calm and peaceful Buddha. Not putting myself first, I will share in the joy and sadness of others, just like the compassionate Buddha. Realizing the gift of life I have received, I shall strive to live each day to its fullest, like the Buddha who tirelessly works to liberate all. Please be seated. Miss Kajita from BWA has a presentation.
Good morning, everyone. Okay. So I have a presentation here from the Southern District Buddhist Women's Association. We'd like to express our sincere appreciation to Greg Yonekura for his 25 years of support and dedication to our Dharma School students. And if there was a perfect attendance award, I think Greg would get that also. So I don't know if you can imagine 25 years of perfect attendance, but that would be Greg. It's a lot of years. So let's see. So I've been working with Greg for the past 4 or 5 years, along with Angela, with the preschool to second grade students. And he's always there to support. He's a wealth of knowledge. He fills in all the gaps when we're teaching and just has a wealth of knowledge about Buddhism and about the history of our temple. So we really, really appreciate Greg. He's always happy and spirited and enthusiastic, and he adds a lot to our classroom and to our Dharma school. So Greg, come on up, please. So the Southern District Buddhist Women's Association every year gives an award to Dharma school teachers who have achieved 10 years, 25 years, 50 years. And yesterday at a conference, there was a teacher that had been teaching for 50 years, which is amazing. So this is a Motoshiki show that we're presenting to him.
Congratulations. At this time, we will recognize those who have a birthday not only in June, but also in July, with today being our final Dharma School service for the year. Please come up and offer incense if you have a birthday in June or July. Reverend Sterling, would you like to come up? Oh, I'm Kobe, and my birthday is June 17th.
Fusako, June 7th.
Amy, July 24th.
Sylvia, June 20th.
Elise, June 25th.
Laura, June 23rd.
Isla, July 5th.
Henry, July 2nd.
Reverend Sterling, June 11th.
All right, we will now sing happy birthday to our Dharma friends. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Dharma friends. Happy birthday to you. All right, you guys can select a gift for your birthday. At this time, are there any announcements?
On behalf of the temple, we would like to thank everybody for their help with Bazaar. We really appreciate all of your help and giving up your time for last weekend. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. Next Sunday, June 21st, will be our last day for Dharma School, and we'll have our annual celebration at Roar Park starting at 10 a.m. We'll have a short service, fun games for all, and a potluck, and the entire Sangha is welcome to join us for that. The Dharma School will provide hamburgers and hot dogs, and please feel free to bring a side dish, salad, or dessert to share with everyone. And we have maps down in the office if you want to know where we're going to be in Roar Park, the same place that we are every year. Dharma School classes will resume on September 13th, and if Dharma School parents can please complete the online registration form that we emailed out. I'll email that out again by the end of this month. That would be great. If any parents or any Sangha members are interested in helping with Dharma School, please let Sharon or me know. We would love the help. Any help is appreciated. And then after this, Dharma School students, you will be excused and you will be going to the annex today for a special lesson learning about kendama with Mr. Sean Tokunaga and two of his friends. So it's going to be awesome. I just talked to them. I think it'll be a lot of fun. And then after that, there will be, I think, is Wendy? Oh, Wendy, okay. Wendy has something she's going to share. Okay, thank you.
Hello, we're from the 100-year committee, 100th anniversary, and it's coming soon, 3 months away. And so I'm actually wearing a new apron that we have. I don't know if you can see it, but I'll be downstairs if you want to buy one. They're $35. They're the shorter ones, but we also are getting longer ones made. They're just not quite ready yet. But they're $35, check, credit card, and cash. And we'll be selling them throughout. throughout from now till we sell out. And then also we're going to be doing hoppy coats, and this is where Avis will come in, and we need to order them as soon as possible. But anyway, she'll talk more about it.
Okay. So I'll also be in the dining room selling the hoppy coats today, and take your sizes. We have a sample size, so I can kind of judge which one is good for you. And there's between $75 and $85. We have children's sizes, medium and large, for $50. Okay, so that's for that. And then we also have Ochigo. We'll also be having a Ochigo parade. So if any children would like to participate, I have the forms with me right now, so I can give that to you too as well. Okay, and that can also be for your grandchildren as well, if they're small, like about maybe the 4th grade and lower. Okay, thank you.
Hi everyone, I just wanted to let everyone know that the Obon Again resale shop is going to be open again for its 27th year. And if you didn't know, all of the proceeds go towards our scholarship fund. So we're going to be open around Bon Odori dance practices as well as during Obon. And we're still accepting donations of Japanese wearables and goods. I'm going to be setting up a sign-up sheet for anyone who wants to come volunteer to help us set up and find your own treasures while setting up. So you can let me know, my parents, or I'll make sure the office has the information so that you can get that sign-up sheet. Thank you.
Good morning, I'm Wendy, and I have 2 announcements. One, today at 12 o'clock after the kendama, I'll be in hospitality, in the conference room, and we'll be making Dharma school students only to make the fan. So, and also the second one is that these fans are hand-painted by me, are available in the back and downstairs for $20, and it's all donation to BTSD 100th. So please buy, shop, shop, shop.
The Junior YBA received the Southern District Obon t-shirts. If you pre-ordered a shirt, please see us in the dining room immediately after service. These are pre-sale only, so unfortunately we do not have extra for sale. Thank you.
Oops, I thought I was going to be the last one, so I was going to be the longest one. But there are other people following me, so I'll make it short. I had to write it down because I have no more short-term memory. If you know me, I'm not lying. Okay, so I'm going to be showing you a book that we've had for sale here for about 16 years. And I want to explain to you what it is and what we've decided to do after having so many copies remaining after that period of time. This is what it looks like. It's a booklet. It's very modest, nice printing inside. And this was put together by the Interreligious Council of San Diego. And many of you probably have never heard of it. Susan Moribe and I were members of this council for a while. They actually represent these sects of, I was going to say Buddhism, but that's not true. That'd be a lie. These faiths: Baha'i, Christianity, the Church of Latter-day Saints, Hinduism. Okay, so representatives from these organizations came together and they said, we're not competing here. We all have the same idea in our hearts and what we're trying to promote. And they decided to put together this booklet that talks briefly about each of the religions. And we've been offering this book, like I said, for quite a long time. We don't get too many takers because we're selling it at the price that it was set at the time that it was published for $10, $9.95. We have a case of these books. You can learn a lot from these. I certainly did, just participating in the council. to read a little bit about each religion and to find out what the basics are and how we sort of fit into that pantheon, okay? So what we are going to do is offer these for a donation in any amount, and we'll have it with the books out here, and any events we'll put them out there. And just for any donation, please take one home and educate yourselves a little bit, as we did when we first put this together. Thank you.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Nice to see so many of you at Temple today for service. I have some announcements to make. First, our Temple golf tournament is on Sunday, June 28th, and next Friday will be a Panda Express fundraiser to support the event. So those of you who love Panda, you know, you can support the fundraiser. There's some flyers in the back. There's a QR code if you'd just like to scan that, and it'll take you directly to the site where you can order your Panda. And using the code, you have to use the code of 901-5513 for the temple to benefit from the event. You know, we're going to have a lot of golfers this year. We have over 60 golfers participating. And so it'll be at the Riverwalk Golf Club in Mission Valley. If you'd like to make a donation toward the event, you're welcome to do so. You could gift cards or any monetary donations will be accepted, and we'll be doing that today if you'd like to make a donation toward that. Oh, and then speaking of Panda, the FPWA has another Panda Express fundraiser scheduled for Friday, the 21st of August. So to support the BWA, FPWA for that, this is for their conference. And to purchase Panda, purchase the Panda script. We have script available for Panda, so please do so. Our next major service will be Obon, which is on August 1st. Reverend Yuki Sugahara, the Rimban of the Sacramento Buddhist Church, will be our guest speaker. The service begins at 2 p.m., and that will precede our Odori that evening. For the Hatsubon service, there'll be letters that will be sent out to those families who have lost a loved one since previous Obon. And if there are others here, if you would like to have your family member or friend honored during the Hatsubon service, please see me or Sensei, Reverend Davenport, so we can put you on the list for that. I've been making some announcements about the fundraiser for Reverend Peter and Mrs. Diane Hata of the Higashi Honganji Temple in Los Angeles. It's for the recovery fund. At the board meeting last Thursday, the board had approved to continue to receive funds. The temple is going to commit $1,000 toward to be donated toward the family, but we will continue to accept donations from the Sangha if you'd like to wish to donate toward this cause. And if you have either cash or check made payable, to the temple, and then that will be part of the donation. If you've already donated to the GoFundMe page, thank you for your support of the Reverend and Mrs. Hata. Let's see, what else? Yesterday was the Southern District Conference, and some of our members and sensei attended that. It was a wonderful event at the Senshin Temple, so thank you to those who attended. Next year, the conference will be hosted by the Venice Honganji Temple, and I encourage you to sign up to attend, because it's a wonderful experience to listen to the Dharma, to connect with friends that many of you have from other temples, and to network with others from the different temples. You know, one thing that our temple does is since this is part of Buddhist education, the temple underwrites the cost for the registration fees for our members to attend. So that's one benefit for being a temple member, and hopefully you'll consider that to attend next year. Oh yeah, Obon practices will be starting in July. It'll be Wednesdays and Sundays, but it'll be the first Wednesday, I think it's July 8th is the first practice. And then Wednesday, Sundays and Wednesdays after that. Through the end of July. Let's see. Oh, I think Sensa is going to have his talk today about the Kieshiki affirmation ceremony, but we will have forms available in the office for that. And then, this is looking 1 year down the road. You know, last year, Reverend Laverne, Reverend Sharon, and I had talked about an idea of offering for our San Diego and Vista Sanghas to make a visit up to the Jodo Shinshu Center in Berkeley. For those of you who don't know, the Jodo Shinshu is like the crown jewel of the Buddhist churches of America. That's where people could go study, learn about Buddhism. That's where the aspiring ministers, assistants go there to learn, train. And it's also there for youth also through the programs that they have there. So we've setting up a program for next year, 2027, July 9th, 10th, and 11th. So keep that in mind. We will have information coming out shortly on that weekend trip. And then lastly, we're still those who are interested in attending the Las Vegas Obon August 15th, 16th, 17th, that weekend trip. There's still room to sign up, so there's information downstairs in the office. Okay, thank you.
This concludes with the Dharma School portion of the service. As Miss Lisa mentioned, next Sunday is our all-temple picnic. As a result, our service will not be live-streamed next week. Our next service that will be live-streamed is scheduled for Sunday, June 28th. Our class would like to thank Reverend Sterling Davenport for officiating our service, our MA team for helping Reverend Sterling, including setting up the ONAIJIN and ringing the concho, Miss Nancy Martinez for presenting today's Dharma message, our tech team for having our service live on YouTube, Mrs. Davenport for leading us in singing the Gatha, and to all of you for attending this morning's service, both here in the Honda and on the live stream. The adult portion of today's service will be chaired by Miss Nancy. Then it will be followed with the Japanese Dharma or Hawa presented by Reverend Noriko Kawai. At this time, Dharma School students and teachers can offer incense and are excused to the annex for an activity.
Thank you very much. We'll continue now with the balance of the service. We will be reciting the Vandana and Tisarana, the homage and the threefold refuge, which can be found in page 96 of your service book. Reverend Sterling will lead us in the recitation, but please read with him.
Please read with me, starting with the leader line. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samsambuddhassa. Homage to him, the exalted one, the enlightened one, the supremely awakened one. Buddham saranam gacchami, Dhammam saranam gacchami, Sangham saranam gacchami. I go to the Buddha for guidance. I go to the Dharma for guidance. I go to the Sangha for guidance. Namo Kie Butsu. Namo Kie Ho. Namo Kie So.
Thank you. Reverend Davenport will now give us his adult message.
Sorry, I got to jack in real quick. Give me a minute. I think it might be HDMI 3. Okay, well, that's going. Thank you, Nancy, for reminding us of the 6 paramitas and patience. Hot. good, Ken? Solid. Okay. Please join me in Gasho as we place our palms together. And I read the words of Shinran Shonin. But let me get my quote here. Okay. Please join me in Gasho as I read the quote from Shinran Shonin's Koso Wasan, verse 17. To take refuge with a mind that is single in the Buddha of unhindered light, filling the 10 quarters, is, in the words of Vasubandhu, author of the treatise, the mind that aspires to attain Buddhahood. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namandabutsu. Namandabutsu. Okay. Okay. Good morning, everyone. So good to see everyone today. So part of this talk was a special request from Ralph. So if you too have a special request after today for a Dharma talk, please let me know. I love ideas. So this is also slightly inspired from the the seminar we were at yesterday. The seminar yesterday was all about intention without attachment, which sounds a little weird in our Jodo Shinshu tradition, because in our Jodo Shinshu tradition, our main goal is not to self-power, not to self-cultivate. So how do we still have intention, but how do we resist the attachment that comes with it? And so to start, I want to start with a question, and that is, how can Buddhism give us wholesome aspirations? And if you can't read this cartoon, it's okay, I'll summarize it. At the very beginning, he says, I'm going to apply myself, and someday I'll get to work on the top floor of the building. So then he studies, he disciplines himself, he goes to fancy classes, learns a bunch of math, and in the very last slide it says, the recycling tube, please, because he is the janitor at the top floor of this building. So I think it's a good cartoon because for a lot of us, when we think of aspirations, we think of goals. We think of things that we want to attain, things that we want to conquer, maybe milestones in our life. Like we want to get married at a certain age, we want to have a house, a career that pays lots of money, maybe a couple kids, in my case, a lot of dogs. But aspirations, for a lot of us, seem like goals, things that we want to check off a list. And when we think about this question, how can Buddhism give us wholesome aspirations? It might sound like a strange question, because again, in our Jodo Shinshu tradition, we are not about self-cultivation or our self-power practices. And in fact, in most schools of Buddhism, we are reminded that it is a path of letting go of desire. Because remember, our suffering comes from our desire, our attachment to our ideas. And if suffering arises from our craving or our attachment, why would Buddhism encourage us to aspire to anything at all? What is the goal? How can these two things go together? But I want you to think about it more closely when we think about living a Buddhist life. We often find ourselves filled with aspirations. We aspire to be kinder, more compassionate, and to live wisely. We aspire to alleviate suffering in ourselves and those around us. And we aspire to hear the Dharma more deeply and to awaken to the reality that's truly around us. The challenge then is with all these aspirations, we have to learn the difference between aspirations that liberate us and free us from our karmic bonds and a desire that enslaves us to attachments. To give you a quick example, when I was really young, the number one thing I aspired to be was tall, taller than my dad. That was my number one goal. I'm gonna be as tall or taller than my dad. Because I remember going to the hardware store and running while he was walking, because my dad's 6'5", he's a big guy. And I was willing it into existence. And so as I got older, through middle school and high school, I got taller and taller and taller. And guess what? I did not accomplish my goal. I am 1 inch shorter than my dad. And that 1 inch is significant. So that goal, although it sounds humorous and funny, it's what most of our goals are in life. Things that we try and achieve, things that we try and accomplishment, these expectations we have of our life. But I do want to let you know that as you get older, you shrink. So I still have a chance to be taller than my dad eventually, if I don't shrink faster. But my goal here is to point out something that's funny. Our aspirations, our goals. What are we setting our lives up for? What are we expecting from our lives? And what are we really trying to aspire to? And many of our aspirations, when we think about them, are shaped by our ego, our comparison to others, our social expectations. You know, especially a lot of people now with TikTok and Facebook and the internet, they aspire to be like other people, to look a certain way, to have certain things, to measure their life in comparison to others. And for a lot of us, we'll spend many of our lives chasing status, recognition, wealth, popularity, or an imagined version of ourselves that we never can live up to, like me being taller than my dad. We tell ourselves, if only I had this thing, I would be happy. And when you think about it, advertising industries understand this very well. Entire businesses are built on selling you an idealized self, an idealized version of yourself, things that you need, not things that are nice. But those momentary happinesses, those moments when you acquire that thing, at the end is just a reminder that that thing isn't what's going to make you truly happy. You'll be the person that buys the red car and wish you had the blue one. And so how do we use Buddhism to change these aspirations, to change the course of our life? Well, Buddhism asks us to ask a different question, not exactly like this. It says, what if the problem is not what we lack, but how we relate to what we already have? So when you think about it, it's not about what we don't have, it's about how we relate to the things that are already in our life. This person we already are, the job we already have, maybe the income, our living situation, our spouse, or our animals. And so today, when we think about this, we have to think of the difference between aspirations and attachments. Because we don't want to be like this stick figure, carrying debt and ideas and an idealized self. We want to be liberated. We want to be free. We don't want to be shackled by our ideas. In Buddhism, when we think about the second noble truth, it teaches us that suffering arises from our craving and attachment. We often assume our suffering stems from unpleasant experiences, painful emotions, difficult people, or unfortunate circumstances. It's what's happening to us in our lives. That's where we focus our suffering. Yet the Buddha points to us towards something deeper, not about what's outside happening to us, but what's happening to our perception of how we engage these experiences. In Buddhism, pain is not unavoidable. It's going to happen. We will all eventually get sick. We will all eventually get old. We will all eventually get shorter. And we will all eventually pass from this world. But suffering is the optional part. It is how we respond to the pain that is where our suffering begins, not in the pain itself. And we suffer because of the stories, expectations, attachments, and self-centered demands we bring to our experiences. It's not about experiencing what's happening, it's about experiencing our experience with it. We're so caught up in the idea of what's happening that we're actually not enjoying or experiencing what is literally happening. And so this does not mean that all aspirations are bad, all goals are bad. Reverend Uno yesterday said, goals are good. Buddhism is all about goals. But our goals can't be too specific. If we expect to reach a certain level of status and we make it very distinct, when we don't meet it, our expectations are going to set us up for failure. However, if we have a general goal of getting a job, living a happy life, and that goal is very broad, we have more opportunities to experience it as it is and appreciate what we have, not what we are missing. You know, some easy ways to think about the word attachment is it comes in really distinct phrases. It says, I must have this. Things must go my way. I must become a certain person at this stage in my life. And everyone else must behave as I want them to be. All of these words come with the phrase, I must, or I have to. It's needed, it has to happen this way. But aspiration is very different. Aspiration says, may I become kinder. May I develop wisdom. May all beings be free from suffering. And may I continue walking the path. When we look at aspiration, we're no longer saying things must or have to happen. We want them to simply, may they happen? Should they happen? The difference is that attachment makes us very rigid. Aspiration opens the door. One demands while the other invites, and one creates tension externally and internally, while the other creates direction and goals. So aspiration, if we think about it, gently guides us toward what is wholesome without forcing a reality to obey our wishes. You know, we see this a lot when we read The Golden Chain. When we read The Golden Chain, the opening phrases are, I will try to be kind and gentle to every living thing and protect all who are weaker than myself. It's not I must, I should, I have to. It's I will try. In the second verse, it says, I will try to think pure and beautiful thoughts, to say pure and beautiful words, and to do pure and beautiful deeds, knowing that on what I do now depends not only on my happiness, but also on that of others. Again, not I must, I should, or I have to. It's I will try. Aspiration does not come with expectations. It just comes with a direction and helps to give our life purpose. Even the last phrase, may every link in a Buddha's golden chain of love become bright and strong, and may we all attain perfect peace. It's not saying we have to. It's not setting us up for perfection. It just says, may it happen. So with aspiration, the difference is we are looking for the opportunity, but we aren't expecting it to always be the same, the way we want it. So when we think about it this way, the Dharma and what we learn through Buddhism becomes a mirror. I don't know if you guys remember this Time magazine cover. If you're younger than 20, you probably don't even know what Time magazine is. But Time magazine used to do Person of the Year. And so every year they used to have someone on the cover that did someone significant for the year or something that should inspire you. This one was a mirror. It was reflective. So you could see yourself in Time magazine, which I thought was great. Because when we are thinking about aspirations, we are in control of how we guide ourselves, how we pursue our life, not someone else who is a beacon that we have to follow or someone we have to emulate. It's us. We set our own goals. So Buddhism is about awakening to this reality, including our imperfections. We're not expected to be perfect. We're just expected to be ourselves. It encourages us to hold aspirations for growth, while also accepting the idea that perfection is not the goal. In this way, we foster patience and self-compassion. Shinran Shonin captures this when he says, we are full of ignorance and blind passions. Our desires are countless, and anger, wrath, jealousy, and envy arise without pause. To the very last moment of life, they do not cease or disappear or exhaust themselves. So when you read this, it sounds very heavy. It sounds like we're full of all of these difficult emotions and feelings. But he's not just describing a specific set of person who's flawed. He's describing all of us, imperfect beings, learning to awaken amidst our flaws and struggles. We're in a whirlwind of our own ideas, and he's just pointing out that it exists. So we know what it's like to become impatient. We know what it is like to hold grudges. We know what it is like to become jealous, fearful, and angry. We go through it all the time. Recently my phone broke on Tuesday. I was so woke up, so frustrated because I was like, I can't use my phone for work. But it was just a phone. It's just the thing I use to call people. It's supposed to make my life easier. It's not supposed to make my life more inconvenient. So even I suffer from being angry and fearful. But the Dharma does not ask us to pretend that things do not exist. The Dharma instead shines light on them. It acts like a mirror for us. And once we see ourselves honestly, a new aspiration will naturally begin to emerge. We begin to aspire toward wisdom. We begin to aspire toward compassion. And we begin to aspire toward awakening. By seeing us as we really are, flaws and all, we are allowed to experience the world around us honestly and in person. This aspiration often arises because we encounter suffering, not only in our own life, but the suffering in the world. Many of us look around and see the world in conflict. We see violence, we see war, we also see loneliness, division, anxiety, and grief. We see people struggling day to day. We see communities hurting, and we recognize our limitations in helping all of these people around the world. And at first, we may seek solutions in our politics, our social movements, our education, maybe our job, our relationships, or our personal achievements as a refuge. But these efforts may certainly be valuable to us, but eventually they will also bring us suffering and help us realize that they aren't the true method to seek our own happiness. So the only way to pursue our happiness is to understand it through the Dharma. Perhaps it takes a book, a Dharma talk, maybe a temple service you went to, maybe a seminar or a workshop, but all of these are opportunities to realize and listen to the teachings, to allow ourselves to see reality as what it is. However it happens, the more you begin to hear the Buddha's teachings, and in that hearing of the Dharma, you are able to plant new aspirations, guided in a more wholesome way. So what does this tie into? Why am I bringing this up? Because this is what's captured when we think about a Hoyo. How many of you guys have a Buddhist name? Anyone? Okay. How many of you guys remember your Buddhist name? Not all the same hands are up. That's okay. So in Buddhism, especially in our Jodo Shinshu tradition, there's 3 ways of getting a Hoyo, a Dharma name. You can pursue Tokudo or Kyoshi, become a minister. You can have the ceremony that we're going to have in September. Or when you pass, you are given a name posthumously. Okay? The main 2 differences between these 2 names is that when you pass, the Dharma name that is given to you is meant to capture your essence, your Dharma, who you were, how you contributed to the world. And you're never going to hear it, so you get it after the fact. The other opportunities, when you get a Dharma name while you're alive, are not to define who you are in the moment. Instead, it's an opportunity to reach and achieve an aspiration in your life. The Dharma name becomes something that gives you guidance. It's something that points you in a direction. So when we think about it, a Dharma name is an aspiration that is given to us. You know, when you think of your secular name, your first name, they're usually given to us by our parents. They carry with them hopes and wishes that they have for us. You know, when we picked a name for our child, we were thinking of what it means. What does it symbolize? What is the root of it? But a Dharma name is different. Every Dharma name begins with the word shaku, which means you're part of the Shakya clan. You're part of the Buddha's clan, and you are a disciple of the Buddha. The second part is made up of 2 characters. One that you choose for yourself, an aspiration that you give to yourself. And then the third character is chosen by the minister or the gomonshu or the bishop, that they give you an aspiration as well. So when you think of a homyo, it's not just a name that's pulled out of a box that's given to everyone. It's an aspiration that's given to you by yourself and by a minister. They become two words that work together that guide you and give you a guiding principle in your life. By receiving a homyo, we symbolically join the Buddha's family. We take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, and commit ourselves in living that relationship with the teachings. So when we think about it, a homyo is not just a name, it's a personal aspiration to guide us. Perhaps one's Dharma name contains a character associated with wisdom, and that forces you to think, whenever you hear it, to remind yourself to cultivate wisdom. Perhaps one of the characters is associated with compassion, which then becomes an opportunity as a lifelong reminder to embody compassion in your own life. So these words and characters that either you or the minister chooses are meant to not define who you are, but define things that you can pursue. More compassion, more wisdom, more balance. The Dharma name becomes a seed planted in your heart, and it does not demand perfection when you receive it. It just simply offers a direction. It doesn't say you must already have this. It says, may you continue growing in this direction, and may you pursue these ideas. That is why listening is so important in our Jodo Shinshu tradition. We listen to the Dharma through our lives. We listen as children when we're in Dharma school. We listen as adults when we come to temple. We listen in times of joy. We listen in times of grief. Through this listening, we can slowly become aspiring in a new way, a new path. And in this way, the three treasures remind us of this process. The three treasures here I have are, when we take refuge in the Buddha, we aspire toward awakening. The Buddha becomes our teacher, our guider. When we take refuge in the Dharma, we aspire toward wisdom, to understand how the teachings can move in our life. And lastly, when we take refuge in the Sangha, we aspire toward a life of compassion and mutual support. You know, Buddhism never asks you to take this path alone. It doesn't want you to stay in a cave all by yourself to pursue this path. Instead, it wants you to surround yourself with community. If you think of it this way, if we surround ourselves with people consumed by anger, greed, resentment, and hostility, those qualities begin to influence us and rub off on us. However, if we surround ourselves with people committed to kindness, gratitude, wisdom, and compassion, those qualities also can influence us and shape us. That is why the Sangha is one of the three treasures we take, because we are creating an environment that nurtures our seed, that nurtures our aspiration, and reminds us of what's really important. Ultimately, all of these aspirations point toward one aspiration alone, above all others, the aspiration to attain Buddhahood. I started today with a quote from Shinran that says, "To take refuge with the mind that is single in the Buddha of the unhindered light filling the 10 quarters is, in the words of Vasubandhu, author of the treatise, the mind that aspires to attain Buddhahood." So what is a homyo? It's an aspiration. It's something that helps direct you toward your own Buddhahood, something that you participate in actively by choosing a character, and something that is chosen for you to help guide you along the way. It's not meant to be a path by yourself, but it's a path meant to be embraced by those around you. When we encounter or meet a Buddha's wisdom and compassion, we naturally begin to aspire toward our own Buddhahood, not because we are trying to perfect ourselves, but because we are listening to the Dharma in our life. We gradually awaken in the direction in which Amita's compassion carries us, the aspiration to attain Buddhahood. So when we return to the question that I started with, how can Buddhism give us wholesome aspirations? I think one way we can think of it is this. Buddhism gives us aspirations by helping us distinguish between craving and wisdom, between attachment and compassion. It gives us aspirations through the Dharma that reveals our true condition. It gives us aspiration through the Sangha that supports our growth. And it gives us an aspiration through practices such as receiving a Hoyo, which serves as a lifelong reminder of the qualities we seek to cultivate in our lives. A Dharma name is not merely something we receive, it is something we live by. It is a gentle reminder that even amid our ignorance, blind passions, mistakes, and limitations, we can continue to move toward wisdom and compassion in our own life. So as we continue listening to the Dharma, saying the Nembutsu, and living among the Sangha, that aspiration can grow with us over time. Not because we are attaining perfection, but because we are learning to entrust ourselves to the Buddha's wisdom and compassion. And in that entrusting, our suffering is eased, gratitude deepens, and our aspiration for Buddhahood naturally rises, not because we forced it, but because we are already guided to it the entire time. So if you don't have a Buddhist name, I encourage you to think about possibly applying for the ceremony. I was told by Ralph that when you do sign up on the sheet, to please pick up this packet, because it tells you what the ceremony entails, what it represents, and it gives you a list of the characters that you will choose from to choose one of the characters of your Buddhist name. And if you already have a Buddhist name, I encourage you to look it up and start thinking about it more often in your life, because it's already a guiding principle there. And just like Amida, who we may not see or perceive in every moment, it's always there reminding us to be gentler, to be more compassionate, and to guide us toward the Buddha Dharma. So with that, I encourage you to please join me as I read the words of Shinran for Koso Wasa number 17 once more. Please join me in Gasho with palms together, to take refuge with the mind that is single in the Buddha of unhindered light filling the 10 quarters, is, in the words of Vasubandhu, author of the treatise, the mind that aspires to attain Buddhahood. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu.
Thank you, Sensei, for your wonderful message on aspirations and versus desires and attachments. And reminder for us to think about, if we have already been given a Buddhist name, to think about the meaning of that name. We will now, please rise if you are able to sing the Gatha Ondoksan 2. Miss Jackie Davenport will lead us. It's on page 128.
Nyorai dai no ondoku wa miyoko ni shite mo hozu beshi Shishu Chishiki no Ondoku mo Hone o Kurakite mo Shasu beshi
Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Thank you. You may be seated. Please put your hands together and we'll just have a meditation. Compassionate Amida and I are together, joined like a twofold screen. We can't separate because of the hinge. Okaru. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. I want to thank everyone for attending today's service, and I don't know if we have any guests today. I'm sorry we missed that in the announcements. Do we have any guests that are joining us for the first time today? Well, if not, I'll welcome everyone back, and we'll have hospitality in the dining room downstairs following this service. Thanks again to everyone who helped with today's service and to Reverend Davenport for officiating. Reverend Noriko Kawai will now provide the Japanese Hoyo. Howa. Excuse me. And so if you would like to hear it, please come up to the front and join Reverend Kawai. Others are invited to offer incense before you leave. Okay, and if you've signed up for Reverend Sterling's bread making, sourdough bread making class, it'll be at 1 o'clock. If you haven't signed up, you can always watch and observe, right? Anything else? Okay, thank you for attending. There's a button on there, right? I can't see it. Just turn it on.
それでは日本語のお話を始めさせていただきます。その前に三期右衛門を、お読みしてくださいっていうようなリクエストをいただいたとお聞きしたので、初めにお読みしたいと思います。で、ですね、この本の97ページかな、ローマ字の方がよろしい方は97ページに、on the page 97 there's San Kiemon. So we're going to read this. And for 日本語の方が読みやすいとおっしゃる方はコピーありますので、読みにくいこともあるので。はい。では三期右衛門から始めさせていただきます。皆さんはこの同音というところから、サンガというところからお読みください。人参受けがたし、今すでに浮く。仏法聞きがたし、今すでに聞く。好み根性に向かってどせずんば、さらにいずれの章に向かってか、好みをどせん。大種もろともに指針に三方に消えし、立てまつるべし。自ら仏に消えし立てまつる。まさに願わくは、主情とともに大道を大下して無常意を起こさん。自ら法に消えし立てまつる。まさに願わくは主情とともに深く共造に入りて知恵海のごとくならん。自らそうに消えし立てまつる。まさに願わくは主情とともに大種を通りして一切無下ならん。無常人未明の方は百千万号にも相合うことかたし、我今検問し授事することを得たり、願わくは如来の真実義を下し立てまつらん。ナマンダナマンダウツナマンダウツナマンダウツ。ありがとうございます。お話しするの忘れて、今ので終わって忘れてしまいそうですけど。はい、ではすいません。もう一度合唱お願いいたします。他力というは如来の本願力なり、ナマンダウツ、ナマンダウツ、ナマンダウツ、ナマンダウツ。改めましておはようございます。もうほぼお昼、こんにちはですね。もう2026年ももう6月となりまして、もうびっくりしてしまいますけれども、日本はもうほとんどのところが梅雨入りしたみたいで、それに比べてサンディエゴはもう相変わらず過ごしやすいって言おうと思ったけど、今日はちょっと暑いですね。でも本当にカラッと、暑くてもカラッとしてるので、もういつも日本の人に申し訳ないなっていう気持ちになっています。先ほどお読みした、短い文章ですけれども、親鸞上人のご著書「教行信証」に出てくる言葉です。教行信証というのは浄土真宗で最も大切にされているご本です。親鸞上人が長い年月をかけて書かれたそのご本の中に「他力というは如来の本願力なり」というお言葉があります。現代語にして少し意味を足すとすると、他力とは阿弥陀様が私をそのまま見捨てることなく働きかけてくださる本願の力のことですという意味になります。皆さんは 体調が悪い時ほど人に頼った方がいいと分かっているのに、なぜか自分でやってしまうというようなことありませんか？頼むとか任せるというような言葉は、浄土真宗では非常によく聞く言葉で、どこか安心を与えてくれる言葉です。けれども実際にはそれをそのまま生きるのはなかなか難しいことではないでしょうか。今日は助けてと言えない私ということを少しご一緒に考えてみたいと思います。私たちの生活の中で誰かに頼るほどでもないけれども少しだけしんどいというような場面はないでしょうか。例えば体調があまり良くない日、仕事や用事があるわけではないのに、なんとなく体が重くて動くたびに少し時間がかかる。そんな時、今日は少し休めばいいと思う一方で、それでもどこかで、いやこれくらいならできるはずと思ってしまうことがあります。私も自分の体調のことがあり、そういう日があります。体調の良い日にはこうしてお寺に来て皆さんとお話をしたり、いつもと変わらないように過ごすことができます。周りから見ると多分大丈夫そうに見える日だと思います。でも調子の悪い日には全く違います。ベッドから起き上がること、そしてすぐそこにあるキッチンにお水を取りに行くこと、とても大変なことに感じる日があります。時々熱が出て体に力が入らなくて、立ち上がるだけで少しふらついて、ゆっくりでないと難しいような日があります。そんな時に本当は誰かに頼めばいいのに、誰かに今日は少ししんどくてと言えばきっと助けてもらえることもある。それは頭では分かっているのです。けれども実際にはそう言えないまま結局一人で動いてしまう。ふらふらしながらでも何か食べないと思い、なんとかふらふらとお粥を作る。自分でですね。作りながら、ああ本当は頼んでもよかったのにと思いながら、それでもやってしまう。そんなことが私にもよくあります。実は患者さんのお話をお聞きしていても似たようなことをよく耳にします。本当は助けてほしいんだけどね。でもまだ大丈夫だから。みんな忙しいから。そんな言葉です。特に長い間ご家族を支えてこられた方や、人のお世話をするお仕事をされていた方ほど、そうおっしゃることが少なくありません。皆さんの中にも似たような経験はないでしょうか。頼った方がいいと分かっているのになぜか自分でやってしまう。あるいは誰かに頼む前にこれくらいならと思ってしまう。そういうことはありませんか？ありませんか皆さん。そして後から思えば、あの時頼んでもよかったのにと振り返ることもあるかもしれません。でもその時はどうしてもできない。それもまた不思議なことのように思います。なぜ私たちは助けを求めることがこんなにも難しいのでしょうか。迷惑をかけたくない。申し訳ない。自分でできるはず。そういった思いが先に立ってしまうのかもしれません。あるいは人に頼らないことがどこかで習慣のようになってしまっているのかもしれません。小さい頃から頑張ること、人に迷惑をかけないこと、そういうことを大切にしてきた私たちにとって、頼るということはどこか難しいことになっているのかもしれません。皆さんも小さい頃にお父さんやお母さんから人に迷惑をかけたらいけませんよと言われませんでしたか？こうして考えてみると、これは特別な人の話ではなくて、 とても日常的なことかもしれません。だから本当は少し助けてほしいのに大丈夫ですと言ってしまう。あるいは疲れてるのにまだできますと言ってしまう。そういう場面は皆さんの中にもどこか思い当たることがあるのではないでしょうか。親鸞上人はそのような私たちのことを煩悩成就の凡夫、生死在辱の群盲と表現されました。私たちは煩悩を抱えたまま生きている凡夫であり、生死の迷いと罪の濁りの中にある衆生である。あるいは煩悩にとらわれ、生死の迷いの中に生きる私たち。生死は生き死にですね。生き死にの中に迷いながら生きている私たち。そういうふうに言えるかもしれません。ここには私たちを責める言葉はありません。なぜできないのかという問いではなく、それが私たちであるという見つめ方であります。この言葉に触れるとき、私は少し肩の力が抜けるような思いがします。できる、できないの話ではなく、そういうままの私がすでに見られていて、すでに受け入れられているということ。そこに少しだけ安心のようなものを感じることがあります。だからこそ、他力というは如来の本願力なりという言葉が心に響いてくるのだと思います。それはうまく頼れた人だけに届く力ではなく、むしろ頼れないままの私たちにこそすでに向けられている働きです。助けてと言えない私、頼れない私、それでも何とかしてしまう私、そのままの私を無理に変えようとするのではなく、そのままの私として見ているものがある。そういう受け取り方をしたとき、少しだけ呼吸が楽になるような感じがすることがあります。皆さんの中にも、もし似たような経験があれば、少しだけでも、あ、これ自分にもあるなと思っていただけたらと思います。そしてその時、ほんの少しでも肩の力が抜けるような感覚を持っていただけたらなと思います。本日はようこそのお参りありがとうございました。最後にもう一度合唱をしてお念仏を申したいと思います。合唱。他力というは如来の本願力なり。ナマンダ仏。ナマンダ仏。ナマンダ仏。ナマンダ仏。ナマンダ仏。ありがとうございました。